Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know of all of my new videos. Today I'm going to be sharing all of my goal setting for March, as well as how I did on all of my February tending list items. This video obviously is coming out late. My February video did as well, and probably January. It's a running theme, I think. What happens is I think that I will get to making videos by the end of the month. That does not happen. Something always gets thrown into the mix, which is fine, but yeah, I wish that I had this up a little bit earlier. February was a really great month for us. It did not turn out exactly as I had planned, mainly because my brother and sister-in-law ended up visiting for a while, and so that was not in my original plan, but it was still a really productive and fun February. So I'm going to first share how my February went, and then I will share what I have planned for March. So my theme for February was organize, and I'm not sure I really organized a whole lot. It was my hope to get a lot more done, but because we were busy on the weekends, I did not have as much time to do the organizational things that I had hoped to do. My main focus during the week is homeschool for my kids, so I don't have large chunks of time to sit down and really go through a bunch of things. I usually try to leave that for the weekend when my husband is around, and we can kind of tag team with the kids, and I get a little bit more quiet time for myself sometimes. Not all the times, but we ended up having some very full weekends in February, which were awesome. We had an epic sledding party, which worked out well for my creative hospitality. Everybody was outside and enjoying the weather, and the sledding. It was frankly frightening for me to watch. I might try and insert some video if I can find some good video, because it was pretty crazy, but it was a lot of fun. So our weekends were busy, lots of sledding outside, lots of outside time and family, and that is really what is most important for me. So yeah, now let's get to what I had planned for my monthly tasks in February. The first thing that I had on my list was my filing cabinet. This is something that I talked about last month. I think that it was on my tending list for January, and I have not gotten, I haven't done it. I did nothing with my filing cabinet. I have no excuse really, except I just didn't prioritize it. It is a daunting task to have to go through all of your old files and just reorganize everything, and I just haven't been in the mood, and so that's where we are. I would like to have everything sort of digital, and my husband really wants everything digital as well, but there's something about having a paper copy of a lot of different things like tax returns and old rental stuff that I feel like I need it in hand. I need to be able to physically see it. So I did nothing with the filing cabinet, and it is what it is. And my hope, I'm not putting it down on my list for March. At some point I will get to it. It probably will not be until after our homeschool year is done, which when I'm filming this, we have about 5 weeks left. So that's really been my focus recently, is just making sure that we finish up everything that we need to do for homeschooling. The next thing on my monthly action items list was taxes, and that was really just to make sure that I had everything in a file so that I could do my taxes, and taxes is on my March tending list as well. I did do my taxes last weekend. It was mentally exhausting going through everything. Being a small business owner is great, but all of the money stuff it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. And it went fine, and our taxes are done, thankfully. I breathe a lot easier once that is done for the year. It's just so much better. The next thing on my list was a cleaning card system, and I did start that. I did not finish it. I printed out the cleaning card system. If you saw my video last month, I got that idea from A Bowl Full of Lemons on her Instagram. She has just little note cards with the different rooms or areas in her home and the items that she needs to do to clean those rooms, and then she groups them together. So each week she works on a few different areas. So each month she fully cleans through her house. So I printed out those examples from her blog, because she had done a blog post about it as well. And I was trying to go through, but I realized that I couldn't really do that to the way that I wanted until I had finished decluttering and going through our entire house, which I still have not done. That's something that I'm hoping to do, you know, big spring cleaning, March, April, May. I do not do it in like a weekend. That would be way too overwhelming for me. So I did not put the cleaning cards together. I originally thought that I would just write down what she had on her lists, based on the different rooms that we have compared to her home. But then I realized that I wanted it to be more individualized for me specifically, which makes sense. It's my home. I shouldn't be copying somebody else's stuff. So I have not finished that, but I do have the printouts, and I'm hoping that maybe by the end of April, I will still have something concrete to work on for those cleaning cards, because I do really like that idea. And then just to have a system each week, you know, you move through your home. I think that's important. Then I had organizing my homeschool cart and organizing my planning cart. Both of those things that I did, I got a couple of those 3-tier rolling carts a few months ago, and I finally got them all organized as much as I can towards the end of the homeschool year. I have all of the kids' books and things that we use daily on the homeschool cart, and then I have all of my planning stuff on my planning cart. Those can be tucked into the closet in my office, so they are out of sight, out of mind, and the kids know exactly where their math books are, which is important. And that is really just because we have not figured out a good way to be in the basement and in our homeschool space daily, because we tend to do a lot of school around the dining room table. Our basement is a finished basement. It is a wonderful space. We have a lot of, we have all of our school stuff stored down there, and the kids have desks down there, and there's a little den area with a TV and their video games and everything like that. But when it's cold in the winter, it's really cold down there, and I don't like to turn the heat on too much. It's expensive. So we're not hanging out down there for school, and plus I do a lot of stuff upstairs anyways. So yeah, that's why we have this homeschool cart, because I was bringing up books and everything to have for our day-to-day, and then I had no place to put it. But now it is organized on the homeschool cart. I know that it will be reorganized come June when I'm setting up everything for our new homeschool year, which starts in July. The next thing on my list is book club online meetup. So I started a book club, an online book club for some of my readers and community members in the main homeschool network on Facebook, and everybody chose The Brave Learner as the first book, which I think is great. It is a wonderful book. I love Julie Bogart and her ideas on what homeschooling is, her philosophy. And so that was a book that we chose. And then I proceeded to spend most of February trying to figure out how to have a private group call, which wasn't going to work because there are too many of us to do that. So we did not meet yet, but what we decided was that I am going to make some videos based on the book and then have it on a private page on my website so that we can have discussion there, and it doesn't have to be, okay, everybody come at a specific time, because I think that might be a little too overwhelming with the number of people that we have in the group. So, and also then you can sort of come at your leisure, which for homeschool moms sometimes is very important. So I have not filmed those videos yet, but at least we're moving in the right direction, guys. So I at least figured that part out. I thought perhaps I would be able to do like some big video call, like on Google Meets or something, but that's really just not gonna work. So it's kind of starting. I'm going through my notes because I have done this book before. I was on the launch team when it first came out in 2018, maybe I think it came out. Yeah, so I still need to work on that. The next thing was my home management notebook, which I did work on this month. I went through all of the rooms, making lists of the items that we need, different like inventories of different rooms, what we have. That's more just for insurance purposes in case something happens. You know, just the purpose of this home management notebook is to have a place where I can put all of the project ideas that I have, any items that I want for a specific room, or if we need something, bigger projects, smaller projects, that kind of thing, just so it's all in one place, and then I can check off boxes as we go through things, and we can, my husband and I can sort of reevaluate each month if there's a specific project that we want to work on and the costs involved, just so that all of that information is available. It makes it easier for us to make decisions when we know how much something costs and the different things that we want. And plus it just helps me get it out of my head. I always say this, you know, writing the stuff down helps me because then I'm not thinking about it constantly. And when I'm thinking about something constantly, it stresses me out. And I'm always thinking, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. But when I write it down in a specific place, then I know, okay, I don't have to deal with this right now. I can wait until the day that I work on this notebook and go through certain things. It's just how my brain works. I got a lot of stuff floating around up there. So the next thing on my monthly action items was create a plan for my March, April declutter project, which I have done. It's not like that big of a thing. This whole first quarter really has been about my goal for a life-giving home and trying to figure out exactly how best to use the spaces in our home. We've been here a year now, and I kind of know the things that need to be done seasonally, and, you know, different things that need to be done, you know, for specific months of the year, better ways to clean and organize, items that I know that we need to purchase to help better organize our space, things that I didn't want to purchase immediately because I hadn't lived in the space long enough to know if that really was what I would need or want for the space. So I wasn't sure if I was going to Marie Kondo the house and just take everything out, but I think I'm going to go room by room and try and do it that way. I think it'll be a little bit easier, especially because I have 3 kids that I'm homeschooling. I'm probably not going to do the majority of the decluttering until our school year is done, and our last instructional day for the year is April 9th. That will be our last homeschool day, and then we will take a little bit of time off, and that's when I will focus more on getting things figured out. So even though I'm talking about March and February and March today, it's going to bleed over into April a little bit as well. The next things on my list were the toy room, which is in the other side of our finished basement, opposite of our homeschool room, and also the kids' rooms. And I did go through those a little bit, but not in the way that I need to. I mean, they're cleaned up, but I really need to go through everything, all the toys, the clothes, the costumes, the bins, the games, everything really needs to be gone through. Things need to be donated and other things need to be, you know, given away, old clothes and such. So that's another thing that I'm sort of moving to March. For my weekly action items, these are similar to what I had in January. Homeschool planning, I need to put it on my list so that I make sure that I just each Sunday do my homeschool planning. I haven't been as good over the past year just because it's been so crazy to sit down and do my planning the way that I usually do, because every day seems to run into another day. It's never, it's a little monotonous and it's a little just normal trying to get through stuff, especially at the end of a homeschool year. I am ready to be done with our curriculum. I'm ready to be looking for new resources and switch things up. So I did do well with that. Every week I was able to check it off. The same with regular planning, getting back into my normal planning so that I write things down, days that I want to do specific tasks. It may not make a lot of sense to you, but if I just write it down, then I make sure that I do it. It's that act of writing it down. It keeps me accountable for some reason. I don't know. The next thing on my weekly action items was to write and mail cards. And I thought I was going to do a good job with this because it's part of my creative hospitality goal to communicate more with my friends, both local and long distance. And I did have, I did order, there's a new like postcard set and greeting card set from Cultivate What Matters. I'll leave a link for that below. And I thought, oh, I'll use these cards. I got them right at the end of February. I do have other stationery from Erin Condren that I love, like personalized stationery, but I just have not sat down to write out the cards. It is ridiculous that I cannot manage to do this. So I have to attach that to some other thing that I'm already doing, like habit stacking, so that I make sure that I do it. I think that I'm probably going to try and put it in my plan. Like if I put everything in my planner so that I can just write the cards when I'm doing my weekly planning, I think that would probably be the best idea. Maybe, I don't know. The next thing on my list was text check-ins, which I am doing quite well with. I'm trying to check in with my friends, you know, a couple of times a week. I try to, either through Facebook or through regular texting. I think that I'm doing a pretty good job with that, so I'm happy with that. And then budget and bills, I also did that. We had a really good February, probably because I was so concerned about doing taxes. So I wasn't, you know, I was very all in with the finances in February. So that worked out really well. For my daily action items and habits, Bible, I did pretty good. I got out, I'm not great right now with reading every morning. I've been sleeping in a little bit later, so that makes my morning routine not as long. I used to wake up around 4 a.m. every day. My body just naturally would wake up and that was fine. And I would work and for like 4 to 5 hours before my kids were ready for school at 9 a.m. So now I've been waking up later, like 6:30 or 7. And so by the time I am done with my coffee and just getting school ready for the day, it is not, I have not had enough time to do Bible. I am reading Bible with kids, but just my own personal Bible reading. So I did it about 2/3 of the month, so that is still good. I do want to get back into a daily practice. I started that 90-day Bible reading plan last month, which I really enjoy, the chronological 90-day plan, but I just have not prioritized it, unfortunately. Journaling, I did no journaling this month. I did do journaling. My PM journaling, where I just write a couple of sentences about the day, that I did every day this month, which is for February, which was great. And I've actually done it every day since I started using the little pocket planner from Erin Condren in January. So I have been doing that, but my normal like brain dump journaling, get all the feelings out stuff, I have not been doing it. I kind of go through phases where I write a lot and then I don't write at all. So right now I am in a phase of just not writing at all. It's not that I don't have things going on, but nothing is so important to me at the moment, I guess, that I need to sit down and really just brain dump. I think that's partly because I spend a lot of time in my power sheets working through what I want to work on. And so I've been pretty focused on my goals and just going to do the next thing, you know, which is good. I think that that's a good thing. PM journal, I already mentioned. Main Homeschool Network, I do check in with my group daily. Reading, I did read every day this month. I have been reading so much since January. I am a really fast reader, and I also will read books to the kids, and I listen to audiobooks when I'm making dinner. You know, when I walk, I'm reading. So I am able to spend a lot of time reading, which is very lucky. It is probably my favorite hobby, and I want to continue it because I am just enjoying it so much. I read a lot of Kindle Unlimited books. I love fantasy. I love romance, anything with a good ending. I hate books that just put you through paces and then it's like they kill everybody at the end. I cannot deal with that right now. I need happy books. So that's what I'm reading. And those types of books are pretty easy to just read quickly. And I do read a lot of nonfiction as well. Not as much recently. I did read Do-Over by Jon Acuff, which I really liked. And The Tech-Wise Family. Or no, it's My Tech-Wise Life, I think. It was by the daughter, which I really enjoyed that as well. I can't remember if I read some other nonfiction. I feel like I did. I think I read a Candace Cameron Bure book. Yeah. I do love to read, and it's my favorite hobby, so I'm going to continue putting that on my daily tending list every month, I think, because I want to make sure that I am reading every day. Oil pulling, I did not do great with. I did it about half of the days of the month. I've been doing better this month with it. Again, it's because I've just not been waking up early enough, and I really just want coffee first thing in the morning instead of to spend 20 minutes oil pulling. And the last thing on my daily action items was an office tidy, which I have been doing. I cleaned out my office at the beginning of February, and I did get the homeschool carts put together, the homeschool cart and my planning cart. So there's not as much surface clutter in my office, which is good. And just getting things put away at the end of the day. Obviously, it's an important thing. Sometimes it's very easy. Sometimes it's always easy for my kids to just take all of their school stuff. They like to do it on the floor or on the couch or wherever. So things don't always get put back where they need to be. But we've been better about it this month. All right, so that was the end of my February. It was a lot of talking. I hope you're still with me. So I have been really focusing on life-giving home as my main priority, as well as life-giving homeschool, because it is the end of our homeschool year. And so those have been my main priorities for my goals. I do have the 8 goals. I will leave a link to my goal setting series so you can see all of that. But I do know that some of the goals, you know, specifically like adventuring, that is going to be more spring, summer, when we are able to be outside more. Not that we're not outside now, because my kids have been outside so much over the past couple of months. We've had a lot of great snow, which is really good, but we don't really go anywhere. You know, it's not like we're going hiking or anything like that, or, you know, to the beach because it's cold. So, yeah, so I'm going to share March now with you. And March, I have a lot of stuff on my monthly action items list, but they're more just things that I need to do. They do all relate to my goals, but my main focus for March and April is really finishing up our homeschool year and getting everything ready for our teacher reviews that we have to do in our state of Maine. So I have focus as my priority for the month, mainly because I do, at the end of a homeschool year, it's so easy to want to move to the next thing. And I love doing that. I love to start looking for new materials and looking at new homeschool catalogs. The Sunlight catalog has already come out in PDF form, so I've started to go through that. I'm starting to make my lists of items that I know that we're going to need for next year. But I don't want to spend so much time on planning for next year that I don't finish out this homeschool year strong. So I know that my focus over the next 5 weeks is really going to be finishing up the curriculum and resources that we have now for Emma and Jack and Lucy, and starting to brainstorm for the 2021-2022 homeschool year, because we do start in July. And if last year is any indication, there are going to be shipping delays, and so I like to try and get as much of my materials early as possible. I know that when the new Erin Condren teacher planner comes out, I will start, which is usually, I think last year it was April. I think it was April last year, maybe the end of April. And so I want to make sure that I have most of my stuff so that I can start planning out our homeschool year. I take a long time to plan out our homeschool years because it's what works for me. I know a lot of people can do it like in a weekend. That isn't me, because I don't plan out every lesson. I mainly work on like goals that I have for the kids and goals I have for myself, and books that I want to read, and like pre-reading and going through instructor's guides. Yeah. So anyways, that can snowball pretty quickly if I let it. So the first thing on my monthly action items is taxes, which I already said that we finished those last weekend. I'm so thankful that's done. I hate taxes. You know, you would think that I would just pay somebody to do it. Nope, do it myself. Maybe next year I'll pay somebody else to do it. Start my decluttering project. So I am going to start my decluttering project. That is, it's actually going to relate to another item on this list. It's going to mainly be going through the kids' clothes. My kids, they grow so fast. It's crazy, except for Lucy. Lucy always seems to stay so little, but yeah, Emma is the same height as me now, and Jack is growing much taller. Everybody needs shoes, etc. So I need to go through and but pack away clothes that are acceptable for when Lucy is older. It's kind of hard to save clothes because there's 6 years between her and Emma, but I am still doing that. And I do have some clothes in the basement that I need to bring up that I think will fit Lucy, hopefully this spring, summer, fall, maybe. so I need to start going through the kids stuff. That's really going to be my first priority for the decluttering project, is the kids' rooms, because they're much smaller than our last home. And yeah, we don't have a good system. It's not a good system, but we need to get rid of all of the old stuff before we can figure out what system is going to work. So the next thing on my list is a list of kids' needs for the spring and summer. Once I go through all of the clothes, I will be able, and everything really, once I go through all of that stuff, I'll be able to make a list of the things that we need for spring and summer. I need to do that earlier, because last year we really, I don't know if it was just because it was 2020 and we just couldn't find anything, but we really struggled with getting the things that we needed last year when we needed them. So I'm hoping that if I'm early enough, we can, you know, avoid that struggle. The cleaning card system, that I'm hoping I can start working on this month after I'm, you know, once I start going through each of the rooms for our decluttering project, I will be able to then take a card and write out the things that I need to do for the month to make sure that that is a clear space. I need to price out furniture and then prioritize the order on which we want to purchase things. We need a new refrigerator. Our refrigerator is, first of all, it's very small. And second of all, everything past the middle, if it's in the back of the fridge, it freezes. It's the worst refrigerator. I miss my old refrigerator. Anyways, we need to buy a new refrigerator, and the refrigerator that we want is not in stock anywhere, and it's like out months. So we need to figure out if we can get a different one, or anyways, we also had planned to buy new living room furniture and put our old living room furniture in the basement for the kids' hangout den area. There are a lot of things that I put off purchasing this past year, and it's hard for me to pull the trigger and make those big purchases because I am all about saving money. So they are things that we need, but I tend to just put up with not having them. But I do want to price out furniture and then prioritize it so that I can figure out which months we can purchase things. I do all of that legwork ahead of time, and then I talk to my husband about it and we figure out when the right time is. So that I have to do. Homeschool brainstorm for 2021 and 2022. This is something that I have already started doing. I am planning on taking a day where I just sit down and work on that kind of stuff. It will probably be on my planning day at the end of March, because that is a good day to do it. It's already blocked off on my calendar. We don't do a huge amount of parent-intensive homeschool that day because I am working on planning out the rest of my stuff, so I will probably put it there. Brave Writer Book Club videos, I'm hoping to get those finished quickly so that I can just post them all at once and then everybody can join in when they are able. Planning day, my planning day is March 25th. The spring refresh, which is next in my power sheets. And then garden planning. I need to go through and see what we have left from last year. I love to do like food preservation, you know, freezing different things and canning, all of that homesteady type stuff I really enjoy. And so I just need to look and see, what did we use up? What could we use more of? That kind of stuff. I take notes throughout the year on what we're using, when we're using it, how much of it we're using. So I need to do that. I do need to go through my seeds again and just make sure that I have everything that I need. I don't know if I'm going to start seeds. If I'm going to start seeds, it's going to be pretty soon. I may just get seedlings and then direct plant most of my stuff. But I also know that I need to get a bunch of like compost for the garden beds, and we need to have the garden beds fixed. They're falling apart. When we moved into this house, there's this beautiful garden space, but the garden beds are old, and so the wood is all falling apart. So Matt needs to fix that. I don't know if we will have good enough weather for him to do that in March, because we still have snow on the ground. So, and I also want to put more fencing around the bottom of the fence that's around the garden, because there is a gap in the bottom which lets animals in. Whatever ate all of my lettuce last year, not my lettuce, my kale, and my green beans, it could be squirrels, I don't know. So that is the last thing on my monthly action items. These things are taxes, are awesome adulting, start my decluttering project, cleaning card system, the list of the kids' needs, pricing out furniture. All of that is life-giving home goals. Homeschool brainstorm is my life-giving homeschool goal. Brave Writer Book Club, that's all about Townsend House, growing my community. Planning day, that's awesome adulting as well. Spring refresh, garden planning, that's life-giving home. My kids really enjoy gardening, especially Jack. He is such a big help in the garden, turning the garden beds over and helping me plant and weeding. He's such a big help, and that's something that we look forward to every year. My weekly action items, homeschool planning, food prep. Food prep is one of those things that I do better with food prep than meal planning. If I make a meal plan, I don't want to follow it. I think partly that's because of my rebel nature in, like if you follow personality typing, Gretchen Rubin's 4 tendencies, I fall into the rebel category, and when I tell myself that this is what we're going to do, I get bored and I don't want to do it. So if I make a bunch of food ahead of time, that is in the refrigerator, things like, you know, having black beans in the fridge, or my veggies cut up, or, you know, making shredded chicken at the beginning of the week in the crock pot, or whatever it is, lots of food prep things, then I am able to just grab things out of the refrigerator and make a meal. I love to cook, and so if I have ingredients prepped ahead of time, I'm pretty creative and can make meals based on that, which I'm thankful for. Sometimes it can be a little boring, but you know, I try to keep things interesting. So I don't ever use recipes. So even if I make the same thing, it's different because I never measure and I don't use a recipe. Nobody's died yet. So the next thing is on my weekly action items is Monday meetings. This is a homeschool thing. We have not done Monday meetings for like the past month or so. A Monday meeting is really just me sitting down with my kids and going through the expectations for the week. This helps them be in the right frame of mind for getting their work done, and it also helps them learn a little bit of time management. This is mainly for Emma and Jack, although Lucy loves a Monday meeting as well. Our Monday meetings are mainly her talking to me about whatever she feels like talking to me about. But the purpose of the Monday meeting usually for me is to tell Emma and Jack any projects that they have for the week, tests. We don't do a lot of tests, but math, Emma has more math tests now. Writing projects, they can talk to me about any passion projects that they are working on. Jack's writing a sequel to his Johnny Clue book that he wrote with his friend last year. So it's like a sequel that they're working on, if he wants to work on that. Research for anything that they want to do. that kind of stuff, so that we just have a good understanding of what's going on for the week. If anybody has an appointment, dentist appointment or orthodontist, or Emma's band, if that gets changed to a different time, etc. So those are our Monday meetings. I was not good about Monday meetings the past probably 5 or 6 weeks. We just haven't done them. We've just been trying to go through to the next thing. And so I'm hoping that I can reinstitute them for the end of our homeschool year. I don't know if it will happen or not. Today is a Tuesday. Yesterday we did not have Monday meetings, but we got through all of our homeschool. It's like, I know exactly what we need to do to get through to the end of the year. So that's kind of where I'm at this point. I'm just like going on autopilot, just get to the next thing to be done. And the next thing is budget and bills, which was also on my February list. I'm trying to get as much into savings as I can, because we want to pay off the rest of our consumer debt, which is Matt's student loan and our car loan, which we had hoped to do last year. It didn't work out. So, and then the last thing on my weekly action items is writing. This is not journaling. This is writing for my blog, Townsend House. I have not been good recently about getting new posts up. I have so much content because I've been blogging now for 10 years at Townsend House. I have like 1,500 blog posts. So sometimes it's hard for me to come up with new content. But I do have a lot of ideas. I just have not put the time in to sit down and write. It's something that I love to do. I love writing so much. I love to share my journey with my readers and my community. So I do have some ideas about homeschool planning, finishing up our homeschool year, some reviews of different products and curriculum that we used this year. And I'd like to have accompanying videos for those, but it's a big process to go through and do a blog post. It's not just sitting down and writing, but if I can get the writing part done, which is the most fun for me, then I can go back and do the pictures and the videos and all of the links and everything that's important for the blog post. If I can batch write, you know, once a week, that will be a good thing. So it is on my list. I did not write last week. I'm hoping that this weekend I can get up early enough and sit down and do some good writing. And my daily action items: check in with Maine Homeschool Network, read, exercise, homeschool, and read with the kids. It's really March, like I keep saying, is mainly focusing on finishing our homeschool year well. So a lot of this stuff is going to bleed into April, and I don't know when I will share April stuff, because everything that I wrote down for March is stuff that I plan to work on in April as well, and it may end up being that I combine those 2 months, which I know seems a little strange, but we'll see. I am looking forward to doing the seasonal refresh though, and sitting down and going through where I'm at with my goals for 2021. So stay tuned for that. That is the end of my March tending list. I'm really pleased with how my year is going so far. The days are getting longer, which helps a lot, especially in Maine. It's so dark most of the time. In the winter, you know, in the dead of winter, the sun goes down at like 3:30. It's ridiculous. And then when summer comes, you know, the sun starts coming up at like 4:15 a.m. So I am happy with how this year is going so far. I feel like I'm making good progress. My goals aren't typically time bound, except for some of my financial goals and my Townsend House goals. Everything else, like a life-giving home, a life-giving homeschool, those aren't really time bound, because they're things that I always want to be improving. And so like with the life-giving home, right now, this first quarter has been all about organization and trying to figure out what we really need in our home and what we can get rid of, systems in place so that our home life just works better. And I really felt in February, and especially the beginning, this past week or so, the start of March, that is how it has been going. We've gotten into a better rhythm, something that I have really been lacking for about a year because of how crazy 2020 was, and moving right before all of that craziness. I mean, it was crazy. So, having the ability to sort of fall back into a good rhythm and to see that my kids are enjoying their days and not stressed and enjoying one another's company, it really makes my heart happy. So I'm very happy with how things have been going. Could I accomplish more? Probably. Could I take some of my time that I've been spending on reading and dedicate it to other things? Absolutely. But for this season, it really has been the best option for me to take some time for that self-care, to regroup and to sit down and understand exactly what I'm working towards. It makes me a happier person, and when I'm a happier person, my kids are happier. The whole the feel of our home is just lighter. So thank you again for watching. I know these videos are super long, and if you stick to the end, I am just so proud of you. I would love to hear what you are working on this month for your own goals. Are you really time bound with the things that you're working on right now? I'd love to hear what you're working on. Yeah, so again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.